Hi, today I'm here to show you how to change an MPRF battery. I have here with me my MPRF, and I also have with me the MPRF battery replacement kit. In it is a O-ring removal tool, 4 spare batteries, and O-rings. Along with that, you can also purchase a gripper tool to hold on to the MPRF lock ring when you're changing the battery. And I'll use that in my demonstration today. First, start by holding the MPRF in one hand with 2 fingers on the top and your thumb on the bottom. And start by giving that MPRF a squeeze and compress it with your fingers, and then unscrew the lock ring with your other hand. This allows the lock ring to loosen up. If it is too tight to unscrew, then you'll want to use this gripper tool. And I'm going to go ahead and start to show you how to use that. You slip it over the data logger until it slides into place on top of the lock ring, like this. And then use 2 fingers and your thumb, and you can unscrew the lock ring with the gripper tool the same way. Once you have the lock ring loose, then you're going to want to go ahead and lift the lock ring away with one hand, slide it over the temperature probe carefully, and then set this lock ring to the side. This lock ring could become damaged easily. It's very sensitive to shock, dropping on a hard surface. So now that I've set that lock ring to the side, I'm going to go ahead and open up the housing, and you'll notice that this sort of lifts away. Don't pull it back too far. There's a ribbon cable here, and this ribbon cable can become damaged if too much pressure is put on this upper housing when opening it. So you don't want to do too much of that. And also this board could become loosened if it gets pulled too hard. Okay, once you have it open at this point, then I can remove the battery. And you can see in this logger it's sticking out easily for me to grab and pull. But if it's not, if it's stuck in there, try giving it a little shake and it should come out loose as well. Okay, once I've removed the battery, I'm going to go ahead and discard this properly. And I have a replacement battery ready here. I'm going to go ahead and slide this positive end down. There is a marking here on the housing of the MPRF that shows the direction that the battery should be placed. So you can always refer to that if you need to know which way to put the battery. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and install the battery now. Just slide it back down into place in place of the original battery. All right, now at this point we want to change the O-ring seal, and you always want to change the O-ring seal when you're changing a battery. You really need to change it anytime you open this MPRF. Hopefully you're only having to open it to change the battery. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set this down for a minute and pick up my O-ring removal tool. It is very sharp, so be careful with it. Don't hurt anything. And then you want to go ahead and use this to just poke into the O-ring and dig the O-ring out of the groove, which I'm going to go ahead and do now. So I go ahead and get the sharp end in there as tight as I can on that O-ring and push down, and then push to the side a bit, and it should lift up out of the groove and stick to that tool, and then you can use that to pull the O-ring out of the groove the rest of the way. Remove the O-ring from the housing, and you can go ahead and lift it up over this upper housing here, and you don't have to worry about damaging it. It's going to be discarded. So you could also cut it away with scissors if you'd like. Once I have this, I'm going to go ahead and discard this O-ring. Okay, now I'm going to prepare the replacement O-ring, so I'll set the logger down and get a little bit of this grease that's also in the O-ring removal toolkit and put it on my fingers just a little bit. Doesn't take very much. Set that to the side, and I'm going to put it on my index finger and then rub it between my index finger and thumb like this. And then I get my O-ring and put it between my fingers, and then I go ahead and pull the O-ring slowly through my fingers, allowing the grease to get on the complete surface of the O-ring. Once I've covered the O-ring in grease, then it helps to have a paper towel or a napkin nearby so that you can wipe your hands. Now I'm going to take my greased O-ring and I'm going to go ahead and slide it carefully over the housing. And then when it gets down near the bottom, I'm going to have to stretch it slightly to get it over that lip on the housing. And then I'm going to go ahead and push it carefully into the groove with my fingers. And it doesn't take a lot of force, just may help to roll your finger around on it to get it in. Okay, now I have it completely in the groove. I'm ready to go ahead and seal the logger up. And the other thing you should know is that this O-ring seal is designed to only be used once. So the reason you need to change the O-ring is because the seal design affects the O-ring so that it can't be used once the data logger has been opened. So you want to make sure to only open the data logger if you're changing the battery, and if you do have to open it for any other reason, make sure you change the O-ring. This is very important if you're using the data logger in a autoclave or some sort of pressurized environment or vacuum environment. Alright, now at this point I've got the logger closed, and I'm going to hold it with my two fingers and my thumb again. And then I get my lock ring that I have set to the side, and the gripper tool is on it. I'm going to go ahead and slide this over the probe carefully and then get it into place, and then go ahead and hold the logger with your two fingers and your thumb again, and then you want to kind of hold it loosely, don't compress it yet, and begin screwing the lock ring down first. Once the lock ring is started, then you can put some compression on the housing and the lower housing, the upper and lower housing, and put some compression on with one hand, and then finish screwing it down with your other hand. Okay, and the gripper tool does help you get that as tight as possible. It doesn't need to be extremely tight, but it does need to be on there pretty tight. Okay, and I remove the gripper tool from the logger, and that is it. We've successfully changed the MPRF, the battery in our MPRF.